This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm delighted to be joined by Golden Boy's Robert Diaz here in Las Vegas. Roberto, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. Two more days to go. And look, history's going to be made on Saturday night.
Talk to me about the task at hand for Jojo. When you consider Devin and compare him to the past opponents of Jojo's, where does he stand?
Devin is, there's no secret, he's a very talented young man, very gifted, but he hasn't been through the fire that you need as a fighter to add that extra layer of to get you through. And I think this fight is going to teach him a lot. He's going to learn a lot. He's very young, and he's going to become that great fighter with fights like this, like in his moment Jojo had with Gary Russell.
How key do you think Jojo's experience in boxing will play a part on Saturday night?
That's a very important key. It's you add his experience with his hunger, with his want for history and legacy, and his determination and training that he has. All that put together is going to be the key for victory.
Moving up from 126 to 135, how much of a benefit do you think that's been for him as his career has progressed?
Absolutely, it is a benefit. At first, it happened by accident. When Fortuna was left without an opponent, Jojo raised his hand and said, "I'll fight Fortuna." It was going to be a one-off. It was going to be, let's go to fight Fortuna, and then you're going to come back down to 130 and campaign at the weight at 130. But he felt good at 135. He looked good inside the ring at 135. And today, in the second fight at 135, his body is filled in. He's more comfortable. And obviously, the difference between 26 and 30, he's eating to make weight.
We know Devin's a big 135 though, and he's spoken openly about he'd be willing to move to 140 for a big fight if he couldn't secure one at 135. Beyond Jojo, if he was to win on Saturday night, do you think size factor could play a part?
I think it does in certain fights. I don't think it will in this fight. I do believe you're absolutely right. Devin is ready to move up to 140, but in this particular fight, it could also hurt him, just like it did Teofimo, sticking around 135 too long. The stronger fighter in the second half of the fight will be Jojo Diaz.
Jojo said on numerous occasions he wants to be a dog, he wants to put it on Devin, he wants to test his heart more than anything as well. Just get your thoughts on that as well.
That is the plan, that is the key to success, that is the key to victory, and that's what you will see on Saturday night, a dog.
What would it mean for you to see Jojo's hand raised on Saturday?
Absolutely something that not only for Jojo as well, but also in the personal level, to see a young man that came out of the Olympics, debuted with Golden Boy, and to be where he's at today on this type of stage, on this level of fight, and to be victorious on Saturday is going to be great for Golden Boy and personally for me.
Now you mentioned obviously Teofimo Lopez sticking around at 135, maybe a bit too long. We saw his shock defeat to George Kambosos, who will be in attendance on Saturday night this past weekend. Just to start from that, what did you make of Teo's defeat?
More than Teo's defeat, I take more on George Kambosos' victory, and I applaud him. He believed he could win from day one. I saw something at the weigh-in in his eyes. He was determined to win. That's where this fight is very similar. You have two young champions that, although Teofimo had been through a great fight and a good victory over Lomachenko, he still hadn't been put through fire. And I think last week, this week are very similar, not only in the same division, but it also could provide the same type of result.
How much motivation does, in Jojo's case, he's seen as the underdog despite his achievements in the sport, Devin's the favourite, but how much more confidence does Jojo take from seeing Kambosos overcome Teofimo last week going into his own fight?
I think it definitely has to motivate him. Really, the short period of time can't really do anything now in camp to do anything extra, but he was already motivated at this opportunity. Supposed to fight Ryan, then came the Haney fight. But obviously seeing that result, that in boxing anything can happen, just gives you that, say, you know what, I can do it too.
We know George will be in attendance, like I say, on Saturday. Will the plan be, if Jojo's successful, to immediately try and make that fight?
He's always shown in the past, and not by talk, he's shown by actions. He's always raised his hand to fight the best. Even at 126, he was number one in the BC, number one in the BO. He could have taken the BO route, but he said, no, I want to fight the best in the division, which was Gary Russell. Jojo's always been that type of fighter, raising his hands to say, hey, I'll do it. So first things first, Saturday night, and then we'll sit down as a team and see what's the best route. But he wants the big fights. He wants Kambosos. He wants Davis. He wants Ryan. He wants the big names in the division.
All right, Robert, we'll leave it there and I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of his press conference when it starts. Appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Thank you. All the best. Take care.